what kind of energy is required, what kind of energy we need to bring to the table. In a normal day, as an individual, when are you more creative? Is it in the evening? Is it early in the day? Is it late in the afternoon? So that when you are most productive, that is when you should ideally be focused on the high output kind of work, the high output kind of work that demands your creativity, that demands your whole self as a person. So there are people who say I work best, at night when everything is silent, the world is asleep. That's when I am most active. So once we are able to identify our energetic peak time, that is when we should be doing the most pressing work. Now, we all understand that we have 8 hours of work in a day, but it's not true that we can be energetic for all the 8 hours straight. It's not true that we can be at our peak performance for all the 8 hours. I'd like to take you back to our school days, especially primary school and high school, where we had lessons, I think, of 35 to 40 minutes. There was a reason for that, because how the mind works, the mind needs to focus, attention to detail, so that you are able to absorb, be it the learning outcomes or the objectives of whatever you are doing. After that, it is advised that we take breaks, to take breaks so that the brain is able to rejuvenate and relax. That's what we call the regular brain breaks. They are essential for peak performance, especially when you are involved in the kind of work that is intense. That's why we have like the mid-morning tea break, we have a lunch break, we have a late afternoon break, and then at the end of the day, we have the closeout. Because our brains and our body tend to lose momentum the moment we engage in intensive work throughout without rest. So we need to schedule, and how at the workplace, even the HR professionals will tell you, the reason why we have these breaks for, tea break, lunch, and all that is for us to maintain a certain level of performance during work. So it is not loss of time when we engage in these breaks. It is not loss of time when, we have a breakout, have a session out where even in the workplace, you could be having something like darts or table tennis. You may have seen some of these things. They are there so that we are able to continue working at a high performance level. And so, as we understand ourselves, which is the most important thing, we need to know how our body works, how our body reacts, and also take advantage of these regular brain breaks, which help us to come back and bounce back with more energy and gusto in all the activities that we are engaged. Over and above the brain breaks, as we continue to understand ourselves, we need to create a toolkit for energy. As you understand how you work, it's best to manage our energy levels by doing tasks or activities that light us up. Spend time to discover what these activities are for you. The activities that light up your mood, that provide an energy for you whenever you feel down or feel low or feel tired. And once you know what works for you, write it down, focus on that. Because whenever you face an energy dip, you are able to tap and know what you need to do for you to bounce back. If you're feeling constantly drained, maybe it's a sign of growth. You need to look at what tasks you are involved in. Maybe it's time to delegate. Maybe it's time to talk to your line manager or supervisor to give you more challenging activities, more challenging tasks, and maybe more responsibilities that give you that motivation to achieve. Because you could be in a place where you have mastered your art and you are no longer motivated by the work that you are doing and achieving. And so you may need to talk to your supervisor or your manager about your job content currently. So look at yourself. Remember, all along we are talking about personal. Everything here about peak performance is very personal. You need to understand yourself. You need to know what works for you, what does not work for you, what lights your mood up, what does not. And that is what is going to help you, because the interventions that you are going to do, the interventions that you are going to take are, again, at a personal level. There are no interventions that are, the company can do a group-wide, maybe training or capacity development, but at the performance is actually at a personal level. What we've looked at, what works and what makes you tick. Let's look at what brings us non-productivity. We need to let go of all the factors and cues that make us become non-productive. And some of these things are things that we know. But as they say, it's important to document so that we are self-aware. We need to let go of non-productive relationships, non-productive activities in our life. We need to pick and choose something that we are committed to. Stay focused on that plan and monitor our progress so that we are able to achieve higher productivity. It's quite evident from what we see in the media, not just in Kenya, but globally, the stress levels have increased. Be it a factor of, the economic doldrums, how there's a tough time, especially financially, economically, and people are losing work, people are finding it hard basically to survive. So in amidst such kind of an environment, how do we then become productive? We need to respect our mind, our body, and our spirit. We need to have priorities that help us achieve this kind of balance. Though difficult it may be, if we are not able to let go of non-productive factors that affect our mind, our body, and our spirit, we will forever remain at the mercy of changing winds that determine our mind, our body, and our spirit. And if we are not in control, then we are not able to be as productive as we are required to become. So we need to identify all the non-productive relationships and activities and steer away from the same. But now comes another big factor, especially in this day and age, and that is distractions. Distractions are a key impediment to us achieving the flow of productivity, to us getting to the zone where we are at peak performance. One of the major impediments is actually distraction. And again, as we've seen previously, distraction can come in the form of people or relationships. Distraction can come in the form of activities that we engage in. But another form of distraction that is now quite prevalent, is of course technology, social media, and communication. Communication is two-way and is good, but when taken in excess, especially through social media, it can be the distraction that is affecting us from attaining peak performance. Again, as we said, it's not possible, it's not practical to be at peak performance from 8 to 5 or from 9 to 5. However, in this all 8-hour working day, if we can manage to attain at least 2 to 3 hours where we are really at peak performance, then that is really a big achievement. And it can lead us to attaining that peak performance and attaining success. And how do we get there? We talked about the breaks that we need to take physically and brain breaks. But even as we go down to our work, we need to cumulatively ensure we have at least 2 to 3 hours where we are ideally highly productive and at a peak performance. 3 hours in a whole day. How do we do that? We need sometimes to actually turn off from distraction in our environment. It may be necessary sometimes to, switch off. You've seen offices where we have the IT policy where the social media is forbidden, where you cannot use the office network to log in and connect. All that is geared towards productivity. You may need to focus sometimes, maybe 20 minutes or 30 minutes in an activity where you may not be available. I have seen some professionals where they actually go on their phones and are unreachable for maybe a span of 20 minutes or 30 minutes for something necessary, something very important and crucial to be done and concluded. And at some point, this may be necessary because we live in an era where we are reachable at all times. And that may be a good thing, but it may also be the reason why we may not attain peak performance. And you see, peak performance, again, as an individual, has ramifications on your personal development. Remember last time we talked about the PDP, the personal development plan, how well we deliver on our work plan and our work ethic may at some point require that we move into a zone where we steer away from such kind of distraction. But it should never be lost on us that we remain to be human beings. And so even as we work and seek to achieve peak performance, we need to remember who we are, first and foremost, as a human being. Now, New Start is a group of 8 doctors we say is a physician, monitored scientifically and researched lifestyle change program based on 8 fundamental proven principles to help us achieve optimum health. Remember, without optimum health, we are not able to achieve optimal performance at the workplace, because when the health is, we are devoid of optimal health, we are not capable of being at our best. And so these 8 doctors, as the acronym suggests, New Start is nutrition, that is N, exercise E, W is for water, S is for sunlight, T is for temperance, A is for air, R is for rest, and T is for trust in God. And why is this important? Because as professionals seeking to deliver our best and perform at our optimal best, there is the God-given health gift that we have been given that we need to guard religiously and jealously. Because devoid of health, we are at a loss. And so nutrition suggests that we need to have and maintain a balanced diet. We need to eat and maintain a balanced diet. Exercise suggests that we need our bodies to perform optimally. So we need at least to have 30 minutes each and every day of physical exercise. These 30 minutes could be a brisk walk, could be a jog, could be a run, could be time in the gym, at least 30 minutes in a day of exercise. Taking plenty of water is good for metabolism, at least 2 to 3 liters each and every day. Access to sunlight, this is a blessing we have, especially here at the tropical, where we have almost the equal amount of sun and darkness throughout the year. So sunlight is important, especially early in the morning. That is not dangerous. Temperance suggests that in everything that we do, we need to be moderate. We need to do in moderation. That's why we are talking about, even when we are working, we need, much as we want to achieve peak performance, we need to take some breaks. We need to have a tea break. We need to have a brain break. We need to have a lunch break. Then we come back, we elaborate journals. ILO, International Labour Organization, today being Labor Day, advises that as we work, we need at least to take 2 weeks, that is 10 days of annual leave together, like a break of 2 weeks on leave, to just have an annual break where you go have a reset, you have a break, you unwind, and then you come back more refreshed, more rejuvenated, so that, you know, we are not machines on the run. When you talk about temperance and getting rest, I was watching a documentary on Bill Gates, and did you know that every once in a year he goes on a break where he goes to, you know, somewhere where he cannot be reached. He does not travel with gadgets. He just goes with books, just to go read, meditate, and, you know, soul search and even think about the next year and the future, just for a whole week. And when he comes out of there, his mind is, you know, well processed. He's thought through things. He has read. He has taken notes, and he's ready for another 1 year. Talk about air. We need clean air, fresh air, and that's why you even saw we had this climate action where the government last year, I think in the month of November, got some funding for us to plant trees to try and make our weather and climate a bit better and more conducive for life. In terms of rest, we talk about we should never neglect the power of sleep. At least 7 to 8 hours of sleep, because that is when the cells are rejuvenated, when we have total rest. We are able to wake up again fresh. We are able to wake up and go back and do and achieve our best because we are at optimal operating level. Finally, spiritually is to trust in God. You know, having a higher power and higher purpose in life. Because without a sense of direction, sense of where we come from, and sense of purpose in life, it's not possible. As without sense of belief, it's not possible to operate at an optimal level. So those are some of the key essentials on how we can attain being at peak performance, peak level of performance in whatever we do. But there is the one major impediment in terms of peak performance that has been identified. And this is procrastination. When I was going through research, I came across Cambridge, who defined procrastination as the act of delaying something that must be done. And that was quite interesting, that we know something must be done, but we go ahead and delay, often because it is either unpleasant or boring. Procrastination is also defined as the act of delaying or putting off tasks until the very last minute or past the deadline. We know something needs to be done by the 30th of the month, or the 20th, or the 10th, or the 5th. We have 15 days to go, but we'll wait until it is 1 day to go. Some researchers also define procrastination as a form of self-regulation failure, characterized by the irrational delay of tasks, potentially negative consequences. So it's like procrastination, you are self-inducing failure on yourself. Why? You know the time frame you have, you know the activity that needs to be done, but you end up clogging the mind, failing to do what needs to be done until time catches up. And most of the time, it's about the activity to be done being unpleasant or just utterly boring. And so, what we need to do in terms of avoiding or in terms of conquering procrastination, if it is already a problem that we are facing, I'd like you to see some of the executives we have, either in the corporate world and the political world. You'll find that a key thing about all of them is that they have a PA, an executive PA. Why is it so necessary? Number one, remember we have limited time. And in this limited time, we want to do the most optimal activities. Remember the Ivy League principle. Just focus on the most important item. The executive PA, a scheduler, or a calendar is to help us reduce the number of daily decisions. We need to reduce the number of daily decisions that we need to make. Reason being, for every decision that you need to make, you need to start with the question. For example, today you wake up, you need to dress. You first ask the question, what should I wear? Now the question, what should I wear, requires an answer. But for us to get this answer, it demands us to go through a thought process. Should I wear a suit or smart casual? Does this color go with this? Do they match? Did I wear this style last week? So should I avoid it this week? All this is a thought process that leads us to a decision. In arriving at this decision, we have, number one, wasted the limited time that we have. We have drained energy. And in the 6 things of Ivy League, was it really necessary? Did it make it into the top 6 priorities? Most of the time, the answer is no. Reduce the number of daily decisions. Should I go to the gym today or not? The easier thing would be have a scheduler. I go to the gym on Sunday, on Tuesday, and on Thursday, so that I don't have to make a decision. Today is Wednesday, so I'm not going to the gym. What should I eat? Find a way of automating this decision. Should I be getting a delivery from this person, or should I be walking here, or should I be carrying this, or should I be taking this? I also watched a documentary of Sir David Beckham, the footballer. And for him, when it comes to dressing, he puts his dressing ready on a weekly basis. He knows, and he has put them on the wardrobe per day. This would be Tuesday, this is Wednesday, this is Thursday, all the way to Sunday. So he doesn't have to waste time trying to, mix and match and try to see how should I look, how should I dress. Same story, we go back to the school timetable. The timetable was a rule. Whenever the bell rang, the teacher walked in, another teacher walked out. The teacher knew the lesson plan. He knew what was the objective of the lesson that day, what was to be taught, what the learning outcomes were, and after 40 minutes, he walked out, she walked out. Another one came in. And so there was no negotiation about what should be taught, what should not be taught, who should be teaching, who should not be teaching. There was a rule. And so this helps you in overcoming procrastination. Second thing is to finish the day even before it starts. How do you finish the day before it starts? We're saying map out tomorrow by today evening. Remember the Ivy League principle? Look at what are the 6 most important things, but tomorrow, for tomorrow to be called a success, what is the one most important thing that I have to do? Prioritize that one thing and focus on it tomorrow. Let your tomorrow be mapped out by the end of today, so that by the time you're waking up, you already know what you need to go through. Another idea about conquering procrastination is the nothing alternative. The nothing alternative. Now, the nothing alternative was propagated by a novelist, a writer called Raymond Chandler. Raymond Chandler, as a novelist, was involved in a lot of writing, but most of the time he would find it boring to write. The ideas were not flowing. And so he used to get a lot of distraction. In order to overcome this distraction, what he decided to do was set out the first 4 hours every morning to write. If not to write, to do nothing. So he would no email, no social media. He would not do any other thing. He would not do exercise. He would not cook. He would not do anything. It's either I write or I do nothing. What he came to discover is that by restricting himself to focus on only one thing, it brought a lot of clarity and focus. Because at some point, he would not manage to write, but by doing nothing else other than writing, an idea would come. And he would just jot down that idea. And that would take him miles ahead. And it would make his work of writing much easier, much simpler going forward. So find yourself, maybe focus at least 60 minutes or 90 minutes or 50 minutes on a certain activity. Even when you find it boring, force yourself to do nothing else. For those 50 minutes, for those 40 minutes, for that 1 hour, it's either you do that one thing or nothing. You'll find yourself at least moving, getting an idea, getting an inspiration by the sheer clarity of focus. The nothing alternative. The next thing that you can think about or you can do is the next action habit. This was also proposed by David Allen in his book, Getting Things Done. He suggests that you should focus on one simple thing that you can do right away. Then go ahead and actually do it. You know, procrastination sometimes comes because you look at what you are supposed to do and you see a heap of activity and you see it's too much, and then you just get tired and then you do nothing. So David Allen says, look at what you need to do. What is the next step? The next step is to do this. Just do that one thing and stop at that. It could be one very small step. Could just be to make a phone call. Just one call and don't do anything else. It could be just reply to that email and stop at that. Why? Because it says what happens is that sense of achievement by just doing that one thing, one next action, it drives your energy levels up. It gives you a sense of achievement and direction. And by just achieving that one thing, you are likely to do another one thing, and another one small step, and another one small step. Before you know it, you'll have moved to one action to a momentum. And that momentum is what crowds out what would have been procrastination. So just look at the next action that needs to be done and go for it. Finally, what you do to avoid procrastination is to also look at your environment and adjust your environment. After understanding yourself, after knowing yourself, adjust to what works best for you. What are some of these triggers of procrastination? Could it be noise? Could it be technology, digital, social media, company, friends? Get out of there, get out of them. Adjust your environment so that you are able to avoid procrastination. Maybe you have a weakness with, for example, alcohol. And then you go home and actually stuff the fridge with alcohol. It is a self-defeating approach that will lead you to not achieving your peak performance, to procrastination. So environment is very key, is very vital. Wherever you are, what factors affect you and what factors affect your productivity. You need to adjust accordingly. After looking at peak performance and looking at how to overcome procrastination, we all hope and aspire for success. All hope and aspire for success. But we really need to define what success is. Because success to me may not be success to you. And success to you may not be success to someone else. So success, we say, is very personal, just like DNA. What is success to you and in your context? We suggest that any definition towards success should gravitate towards attaining the balance of life. And what is this balance of life? We talk about 7 pillars. That is the physical pillar, where we talk about physical fitness, where we talk about how are you enhancing your physical fitness and agility, especially through exercise. We talk about the spiritual pillar. How is your spiritual inclination? What is your spiritual emphasis? And also the mental pillar. Talk about the mindset, talk about the vision and your mental balance in life. Talking about the social pillar, here is about your social capital. What is your net worth? What is your social capital, social welfare all about? Talk about business for those who are in business. Talk about financial pillar. How are you managing your finances to become financially independent? Finally, is about the family pillar. How are you growing your family? A strong bond within the family. And so when it comes to performance at the peak level, we are geared to performing at peak level, but it should not come at a cost of any of the 7 pillars. And for us, that is what would define as success. Performing at peak performance, overcoming procrastination, and being able to hold together the 7 pillars of life is, in my case, in my definition, what I would call success. So that is our overview for today. We're looking at maintaining productivity and overcoming some of the challenges, especially procrastination, that bars from getting to peak performance and also achieving success. Achieving success at not hurting any of the pillars that are critical in life. So thank you so much for listening. We have come to the end. I welcome any questions and feedback and comments from dear listeners. And over back to you, Eugene. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much, Mr. Marube. Thank you for the wonderful session. I don't know if there's a question from the participants. I can see Steven, I can see Justina, I can see someone. Yeah, Rachel has, perhaps you could go ahead and ask the question or the input.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
Thank you for the session. It's been very informative. However, I have a concern actually as a public service employee. Sometimes I find that you may not have control over some of these issues affecting your productivity, like the environment. Like, for example, you can find yourself in a toxic environment. You try as much as possible to focus and be productive. You're not able to because you don't control some parameters. How can one handle that? Like the colleagues are not supportive, or some are, this work politics and all that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, perhaps we could ask more questions than you answer them all together, or maybe we could answer them one by one. Any other question? Mr. Marube, maybe we could tackle the question.
I think I could go ahead with that.
Yes.
Thank you, Rachel, for that. Actually, it is true. And I don't know why you think it's only in the public sector. Even in the private sector, you may actually not be able to control. You don't even pick your colleagues. You don't pick your supervisor. You don't pick your managers. There's also the issue of corporate politics or office politics that also comes into play, and especially when you get into mid-level management going upwards. So, how do you navigate that? To be honest with you, some of these events, people, environments are what you call a necessary evil. You can almost do nothing about it. The only control that you have is about yourself. The only control you have is over yourself. So you will have to grow yourself over and above your circumstances. Growth happens when you navigate challenges. And how do you attain that or achieve that? The first thing is what you're already doing. You are here, it's on a holiday, you are here to learn. You also tap into the knowledge of people and experts in this subject matter. How do you do that? You go through books on psychology. You go through books on personal developments, as we spoke early last month. And as you get the information on how to navigate such delicate and potentially explosive environments, the only thing that you alter is your response. The key thing here is about your response. How do you respond to this environment? How do you respond to these people and these circumstances and this, lack of cooperation, lack of support? How you respond is going to be the ultimate determinant of how you get through or get along your workplace challenges. And how you respond is, we talked last month about having a mentor. Why? Because your mentor most likely would have gone through a similar circumstance or seen someone go through a similar circumstance. And so they'll be giving you tips on how to navigate, on how things that have worked, not trial and error. So that is the personal mentor, and then we talked about the mentors that you get on the books, and then how you build yourself as a person individually would ultimately yield that benefit to you. Because some of these challenges are not there really to crush you, but how you navigate and come out is how some people have gotten maybe promotions or people see how you respond, and opportunities, when opportunities come, you are called upon because of how you are or how you became given that circumstance. So also don't look at those scenarios as 100% negative. They could be also your opportunities, like those of you who read the Bible, how Joseph navigated from the prison to becoming prime minister. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much for the wonderful response. I don't know if somebody else has a question so that we are able to tackle it. Anyone with a question? All right. Thank you so much for taking your time today. Actually, we call it a sacrifice. Yeah, today is an holiday, and the weather is also not so good, and you guys just took your time to attend this session. We are very grateful for that, and we'll be able to send the recording of this session. It's also on our YouTube. In case you have any question, you can reach to any of us, any of our capable staff will be able to help you reach out to our specialist here, Marube Ogega. Thank you very much for listening.
Yes.
Maybe I'll give Marube to say his passing shot, and then we'll be able to call it an afternoon in case there's no any other concern.
Okay, thank you very much once again for the opportunity and the sacrifice you made to be here today. All I can say is that as we plan all this, let's have a plan, let's have an action and a review of what we intend to do. Be it on an annual basis, semi-annual basis, it really helps a lot. And as we plan to get to our peak performance, remember to balance the 7 pillars of life. I'll be sharing the material and the notes to Eugene. The rest can also get the same. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you very much. There's no any other concern, we'll call off the session. But remember, we have other session this month of May. Follow us on our website and also on our social media so that you may stay updated with the relevant session that we have prepared for you. Have a nice afternoon and see you next time. Thank you very much.